I'm here with Jon Linkous, CEO of the ATA, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Ellie. Good to be here.
So tell me something. This is the biggest year yet, the biggest meeting you've had so far, 18 years in. And what have you noticed that people are talking about this year? What are the areas that
Growth
really
is the big thing for telemedicine right now. Everybody's talking about it. It has skyrocketed. 18 years we've been doing this, 20 years ATA has been in business. This is our 20th anniversary. And it's been growing every year, but in the last year, it has skyrocketed. Not only in terms of the number of patients seen, the number of companies, number of providers who are involved in it, but the breadth of activities that are being done remotely. It's just amazing.
That's really awesome. Why do you think it's grown so much in the last year?
Well, you know, it's a combination of things that have kind of hit us at the same time. The aging of America, the baby boomers first started becoming eligible for Medicare last year for the first time. So all of a sudden the ranks of people who are needing healthcare are growing, which means the chronically ill are growing, and that's a huge demand, huge driver of costs. So of course healthcare costs have been skyrocketing all over the place. That's another one. And then finally, the technology costs. It's just amazing what's happening. On a cell phone, a simple cell phone, you can do video and a lot of things you could never do before. So everything's all happening at once. It makes sense, and that's what's really driving it.
So let's talk a little bit about government policy. How do you think U.S. government policy is really affecting telemedicine?
I wish it affected it more than it's doing. So the great thing about it is telemedicine is growing almost despite the fact that we haven't had a lot of urging from government. But of course the biggest payer for health insurance is Medicare in the United States, and so that's a very important part of it. Also, as Medicare grows, a lot of regulations like licensure, the fact you have to be licensed in every state, not a big problem a few years ago, but now that we have hospitals, health systems that are going across the country, they have to pay attention to the fact you have to be licensed in every state if you're a physician and providing practice. So there's a lot of things in government that's really affecting telemedicine, and we've been really very, very much involved in kind of every aspect of it. It's turned from Washington to each of the state capitals now.
What do you see as some of the other barriers to growth?
You know, the biggest barrier to growth is the fact that we're involved in change. Change is always tough, but it seems to be the toughest for some reason in healthcare. Healthcare is notoriously a late adopter of technology. I don't know why, but it has been. And so I think the biggest thing has been just convincing the administrators and the providers that sometimes if you're doing something a little bit different way, it's not going to hurt you, it's actually going to help things. And the best thing is it's going to be great for the patients.
And so how do you actually get through that? How do you break that down?
Very good point. You know, one of the best things that can happen is when you talk to a provider or when you talk to a legislator. A couple of years ago I was talking to a senator, and I was talking to him about what telemedicine can do, particularly for people who are homebound, and how it can really free up their life and allow them to take control of their life again, stay out of the hospitals, the emergency rooms. And there was a little pause, and he turned to me and he said, you know, my mother. As soon as he said that, we had him, and he was one of our great supporters. When you can bring it home and you see that the technology is not a foreign thing, it's something that's enabling. You can provide care in a way you couldn't do before. Once that takes hold, they're a true believer.
I love it. So let's take a look into the future really quick. Where do you see the ATA really going? You
know, we've grown so fast, so quickly in the last couple of years, it's a little dangerous to look too much in the future. But yeah, I think telemedicine is going to probably double within 2 years. I think ATA is growing with it. You know, we've been involved in doing conferences, of course, a lot of education and training, a lot more, not surprisingly, online. So certainly that part's going to grow, the public policy part's going to grow, but increasingly we're very involved in setting clinical protocols. Because as telemedicine grows, you can have a telemedicine program in Atlanta, and another one in Omaha, Nebraska, and another one in San Francisco, but it's really important as we grow that they're using the same procedures. So when a dermatologist is looking at someone and they're providing services, they know that the skin that they're seeing on the TV screen is the right color balance and it's the right procedure. So pretty soon we're going to be able to practice medicine all over the country. No matter where you are, you're going to get access to an expert. That's our goal, and part of that is putting together these standards and protocols.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
More than happy. Thank you.